today. And they have a really good lineup to enable it. You know, like the lane matchup doesn't feel like the worst thing in the world. Sure, maybe the first 4 levels are going to be annoying up against a Centaur. At some point, you can just overwhelm him with overpower Fury swipes. I don't think you really care too much about Retaliate, especially once you itemize to get a little bit tankier. And you just have this really good tempo coming out from Thiuth. You've got Napkin on that DP, can just kind of group her up around him when the Exorcism's up. Can dominate lane. We've seen DP versus a Bloodseeker lane before, and that's something you can handle pretty well. We saw it in the last series. Not the prettiest of times for the Ursa. Also not the best of times for the DP, but if the lane does get off to a good start, Napkin can just kind of connect and just force the issue early. For Alpha, I'm wondering how much Monster does, because I feel like that was the one hanging point for Alpha in the last game, where he did have that slower start in the Beastmaster, and that just negatively impacted the rest of the team's timings. They just couldn't group up, couldn't push. They did shove in bot really well, but beyond that, they didn't play around their strengths too often because of that.
Well, they're going to try and force the fight here down in the bot bounty rune spot. Nine's actually going to take a substantial amount of damage. Will be able to survive through it, but probably will need to opt to go for a bit of a reset for himself. Was it a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties? It was. 2-for-2 trade on the bounties. Very even start between these two teams. You pointed out the fact that Monster had a bit of a rough lane last time around in that Beastmaster. This time he's playing Centaur into Ursa, which doesn't really feel that much easier.
Yeah, it's not much of a better lane. At the least, you've got the classic combo, you know, level 2 lift into Stomp with double edge. You can kind of slowly melt Lamey, but I'm sure Sunset's going to complicate that. Just keep spamming out the Crystal Nova, get out the Frostbite, make it pretty untenable to chase down Lamey. And as long as Lamey gets free hits, Fury Swipes build up. You've got a good slow on the CM, root down line. You've got a lot of tools to work that lane to your favor here for Thiuth. And we saw Lamey last time. He is a core that can opt to play fast. He played a really quick game on that SF.
He certainly did. Let's see what Lamey gets done here in this Ursa. Of course, mid lane Esk against Soul, so the Ember versus Invoker matchup generally can favor the Invoker based on the fact that you can take away the Flame Guard. So Soul, he does end up, of course, going for the Sleight of his Chain skill build rather than bothering for Flame Guard here. And of course, bottom lane, a lot of harassment being dealt already. Napkin and Nine going to be against Tiger and Rises, and it's not the easiest lane to get started off here for Thiuth because the Bloodseeker is one of those very strong laning style of heroes.
Yeah, it can just sustain. It can kind of zone you out with the Blood Right. That with a Silencer on top, there's just a lot of harassment that can come through here from Alpha. Nine can't really do much. Like, he goes for the tree grab level 1 and can't really use it to harass out.
Yeah, Nine's just dead. Tiger able to secure first blood here on the Silencer. Napkin completely unable to help out. Again, during the laning stage, like this duo of Silencer Bloodseeker is just an absolute pain to try and deal with. So at the very least for Alpha, their safe lane should go pretty decently well.
Yeah, they've got some good peaks to look for, and as Tiger, once he has a value point in Glaives, you're going to be stealing a good amount of int with the kill opportunities you do have down bot. So it could be a good ramp up for Alpha here, and Rises can just kind of carry through the momentum. The Bloodseeker not as farm heavy as the Ursa last time around. Probably just a Maelstrom BKB and you're kind of set to go. So the timing should be a lot quicker. And again, that was just one thing with Alpha, where their timings just felt way too slow to play around with. This time around should line up for a much faster and much more action-packed game from Alpha's side.
Yeah. Still 1-0 so far. Very slight net worth lead the way of Alpha. As predicted, Lamey's having a very good time up at top side. That Ursa, 13-5. Not really too much contention Monster can have here. Of course, as a Centaur, you want to try your best to just stay away from the Ursa if you can. Don't want to get too close. And of course, Lamey's going to have the follow-up of Sunset there, or rather even the initiation of Sunset with the Frostbite. Looks like Monster's going to be left alone anyway. We're just kind of focused on trying to sort out that large camp. Just going for the D-ward for now. Bottom lane, Napkin's taking a lot of harassment once again from Rises. Rises, in fact, they might have the kill here. Napkin in massive trouble. Last word will kick in. Sunset drops top lane. Still trying to run his Napkin, but eventually actually surviving for now and somehow gets through it.
Yeah, lives through. You are giving a lot of charges of Tourist over to Rises. So he doesn't mind too much. Easier time to CS. And again, the harassment coming out here down bot from Alpha provides a really strong foundation for them to play off of. Napkin now off to a slower start. We've seen the DP when it does come off to a slower start. It just doesn't feel great when you don't align with your exo timing. Up top, they are getting aggressive onto Lamey.
They are trying to get harassment where they can. Like, lift into the stomp is how they can get a bit of harassment in. Bottom lane, Napkin, again, trying to pressure Rises just a little bit. 9 really has to be quite careful, but they'll toss back Tiger. Spirit Siphon out. They don't really have the hold for him, though, so Tiger's going to be just fine. And 9, again, is the one that's really in danger. Rise is just constantly just chasing him down, and that's going to be another kill. Tiger, he'll find his second of the game on the silencer. It's a decent attempt, but it just seems like you're giving more away to Thiuth, or rather to Alpha, than you're getting here for Thiuth. Even mid lane, Esk is dropping extremely low on the Invoker. Soul trying for a Sleight of Fist chain combination. He'll find it, but I don't think he can dive the tier 2. He'll be forced to back off, maybe wait for another Sleight of Fist, but 9 is going to join in, try to trade here for his Invoker. Meanwhile, top lane, Lamey somehow ends up dying. Soul gets a Sleight of Fist, but has gone too far, and he will get punished. So action all across the map. Again, Lamey did die top lane, but they did find Monster as a trade. So 4-3 now, 1k advantage the way of Alpha.
Yeah, it's a lot more back and forth. Alpha just has so much more activity to bring out here. Love that little play down mid. 9 just...
Wish?
Oh?
Just kind of farming too far forward, and, well, Lamey just runs at it.
Yeah, you don't quite want to feed that much EXP or AoE gold out to Lamey either, so you have to kind of temper yourself. It gets a little bit of a reset at least coming back into that lane with Monster. And that does free up a little bit of room here for Sunset to rotate. 6-minute power rune going to be coming up. Not the most important for the Invoker to find, but very important to deny away from Soul. Like, one good rune can enable this Ember to just dance around. And his level 6 isn't too far off.
It certainly isn't. Sunset, it's just an illusion rune anyway. Soul, I try to steal it. Does get the chains off, but Tornado's going to connect. Problem is now Esk's in trouble. Completely surrounded as the Invoker, and that's going to be a pretty big pick-off. Meanwhile, Monster's getting tipped for some reason as he does die solo to Lamey. 9 ends up finding Wish, but he might be in danger now. In fact, Soul decides better of it. He won't go for the chase. But again, action all across the map at the same time. So mid lane, you lose your Invoker CM. Top lane, somehow Monster and Wish go down.
Yeah, they just find the openings. Wish, of course, dying in that rotation onto the power rune, but Lamey, if you are a Centaur without the Vanguard, you will just melt to the Ursa jumping onto you, and that does give a little bit of room down bot to get action onto Rises.
Yeah, Rises gets the blood right off at least. Heal's coming out. Chase is still going. Oh no! I mean, he had the raindrops anyway. To be absolutely fair, Monster. Not sure what he's really trying to do here. Lamey's going to chase him down. No problem with the phase boots, and well, we're just trying to body block as best as possible. And in comes Soul. Maybe they've celebrated a bit too early. Sunset might just drop, and it looks like he probably will.
That's some good punishment coming out. That's the kind of rotation you want to see. Rises does eventually fall down bot. So you're much happier here for Thiuth. They even out the kill board. And they are getting their aggression going with these rotations out. I don't see Lamey under any threat, although he is playing pretty far forward by himself now.
Yeah, I mean, he's feeling very aggressive now on this Ursa. Just realizing at this stage he can basically kill anyone he wants. He's trying to chase down Wish, but he had the stick charges going, so he was just fine. Though I say that Wish is so far forward. That's happened a few times now. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they find Napkin.
It's a lot of back and forth. I don't fault Wish. I don't think he was that far forward. He's just playing in a pretty dangerous spot without forward vision. Really good like, knowledge from Lamey to know that the Rubik would probably just try to hang around on the right side, very far away from the creep wave. Give Monster some room. The side of Alpha, they're still getting a good intake of gold onto Rises, just right behind Lamey. And even Monster, despite his deaths, has maintained a decent ramp up. So you're still finding this early start for Alpha. Thiuth not quite really shutting down every hero that they might need to shut down. They do have a timing to play around here, Mike. EXO is up on Napkin if they want to force something out. But look at Alpha, just clumping around mid right now.
Yeah, they'd love to plan Esk another time. Soul won't jump in yet. Chain's not going to come out. It seems like Esk is going to be okay this time. 8-8. 1K lead still standing for Alpha. You brought up the exorcism from Napkin, and it might definitely be about that time to try for the bottom tier 1. Few rotations coming in. Tiger's going to be there, and Rises is still around the corner, but you're going to need at least one more to try and defend the bottom tier 1 if Napkin does pop the exorcism, and there it is. No hesitation from the DP. Sunset will come in just in case they need the backup. And the only person really ready to defend was the Silencer, but in comes more. Soul will TP in. Can they hold him down? They don't have a Silence, but they've got an Avalanche Toss combination, and that Soul just getting deleted. Problem is now Rupture was there on Napkin, so they will lose the DP. In comes the Invoker Esk. He'll try to go after Wish. Rises wrapping around, trying to find Sunset. Might still trade the CM, but Wish will drop. Now Esk, can he find his own way out? Well, Bloodright's going to be there. A fair bit of damage flying in, but not quite enough to give the vision over to Rises. So a 2-for-2 trade, I think in favor of Thiuth. Problem is they lose the DP after popping the ulti. So you won't have that now for the tier 1 tower push.
Yeah, you don't mind too much. You're giving kills over to Esk. You're allowing this Invoker to just get a constant supply of earn charges and just get a lot of activity out. You can still siege. Siege creep is up. It's a bit of a slower process without the EXO. But they might actually be able to find stragglers if they overextend Tiger, not really staying too long. Rises is still farming in the area though, and that could get a little bit dodgy, but Esk just opts to walk back towards mid. And they're still grouping 3 heroes done bot from Thiuth. Sunset's just staying around here. They've already got room to just get Lamey a solo lane. No threat from Monster at the moment. So you're getting everything you could ask for, though.
Tiger, fair bit of damage already, but Soul trying to get some damage out himself onto 9. 9's going to try for the TP attempt out and won't make it. They've got the damage just barely. Rises, he'll commit the Rupture onto Sunset, who does run behind that tier 1 tower, but there's really not much he can do as a CM. In fact, now even Wiz rotating on the Rubik, trying to find Napkin. Won't be able to catch him out, but Alpha successfully defend the bottom tier 1.
Great punishment coming out here from Soul. Starting to catch up a bit. He has fallen a little bit behind that Ember, considering all the activity on the map. I believe he does have his Phase Boots coming out, so that's the early timing for Ember. Phase Boots of Corrosion up, max Sleight of Fist. A lot of damage to pump out here. The thing is, with Thiuth constantly rotating bot, they're slowing down Rises and they're allowing Lamey to just get free farm into Battle Fury. He's been uncontested. He's gonna have his Battle Fury in one part, just about 860 gold away. And once that's up and running, he can really start to ramp up in comparison to Rises.
Well, Lamey still complete free farm on the Ursa. Battle Fury almost up. Smoke's going to be there from Alpha. Vision Tiger going to rotate into the mid lane. Maybe trying to pressure the mid tier 1 just a little bit. Hoping someone makes the jump in on Soul, but nobody falling for that bait. Midas now up on Esk's Invoker. Alpha still placing some deep wards into that dire jungle. Rotating back into the mid lane, they'll find Sunset. Sunset trying to get some D wards off, or rather get some wards off on his own. Will get punished for it. Bottom lane though, knowing that they're not around the area, they'll go pop the Exorcism once again. And Napkin should have absolutely zero issue taking out the tier 1 bottom tower on his own. Problem is Lamey is currently being chased down by Alpha, but they will not be able to reach in time. Kind of gets the memo from his CM dying that he needs to back the hell out of there. And that he does. The Ursa will not get caught.
Yeah, dodges out in the nick of time. Full Battle Fury just flies in. So he can just start clearing these camps really quick, start clearing out the creep wave. Alpha are gunning for the top tier 1 instead of the mid, and are forced to use that DD as well on Soul. So not going to have that damage for a gank. Surprisingly, the side of Thiuth still playing around in that bot jungle as well. They do have some good forward wards, pretty sneaky positions to kind of give some good information on some entrances. For Alpha, I mean, their push can be there if you tank through with Monster. He's got the Vanguard to just cop the tower hits, but they are playing it rather cautiously on their own end as well. Thiuth, they don't mind this. Just farm into BKB, blink for Lamey, get that build-up you want on S, get that full Spirit Vessel going. You can just melt any hero that shows on the map if they're not careful.
Wish caught out mid lane. Is going to drop very quickly. 9 might get punished though. In comes the Ember. Soul will get the chains off perfectly onto the Tiny, so 9 is going to go down. 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane. Nothing really going to come out of it for either side. Into the T1 they go. Alpha going to try and force a glyph, and they do. Thiuth should still be able to slow this down just fine. Like, it's only an Ember. No siege creep available means that you're probably not going to have the pushing power you need. Thing is, of course, for... Sorry? Oh. Yeah, Lamey's found Tiger.
Just that ward paying off already. A really good position. You watch the ramp, you catch a solo support. Silencer without a Force Staff doesn't really do much there.
Certainly not. Even the T1 mid tower now being forced in by Thiuth. The thing is, you are waiting for Napkin to have his Exorcism back up so he can rotate into that mid lane and really pressure it properly. But you do have a siege creep up. Exorcism does come off cooldown now. It's probably around time for Thiuth to try and pressure the mid T1 if they can. Or you might just opt to give Rises more time to keep farming, because he's going to be pretty out of control fairly soon.
Yeah, he's got the build-up. A little bit of a smoke out from Alpha. Wish and Monster looking to make a play. They've got that blink up on Monster. So it's a lot easier for him to initiate on some of these squisher targets. Napkin might just fall.
Perhaps Napkin very far forward again. It's like, it's one of those things, right? He's been there for the last minute and a half down to that bot lane in the same position. Eventually they're going to punish him if he stays around.
Yeah, they've got the tools. Instant smoke out from Thiuth though. And rotating where there's not really any activity from Alpha. They don't have too much forward vision up top here from Thiuth's end. So they're not going to be able to find much further effort. I think overall you still don't mind. Lamey's still farming. BKB not too far off. And that timing's going to be key up against the heroes that you do have on Alpha. Once that BKB is up, no one really pins down the Ursa. You could try to pin down with Rupture. Ursa doesn't really care for that all too much, although it will kite him around, which can be the issue down the line for Thiuth. A little bit of chip damage coming out now on the mid. There are respawns at least, and well, they're starting to come in to try and slow down that shove.
Mid lane. Slowly but surely they are pushing in. And Thiuth just going to let it go, not willing to try and force the fight again. It's all just about giving their Ursa time, because you don't really have any counters towards this Ursa later on. Like, Rises should not be able to contest as a Bloodseeker. You know, maybe if you go for the itemization, it's a bit of a different story. But in the hero matchup, it's certainly Ursa favored. And well, 9 mid lane, luckily not going to get chained up here by Soul. The chains do end up landing onto the creep wave instead, so he's going to be okay to back off. They are still playing on edge when it comes to their positioning, that's for sure. Like, a lot of moments where it felt like they could have been punished a lot harder. Kind of getting away with murder almost.
Yeah, they just get to keep playing the stall game, keep having faith in Lamey to carry through for them. Rises is not too far behind though. You know, within 800, 1,000 gold here. BKB of his own, not too far off. So you're going to have this interesting timing of Bloodseeker BKB and Ursa BKB lining up. And you'll always have this BKB piercing spell, at least in Rupture. So you're always at least have one tool to hold back Lamey, and that could really make these fights awkward. Still Alpha. Just being patient. Both sides just being very, very careful considering how much is on the line in this game. No one wants to take these massive risks.
Here comes the smoke. Thiuth. Sunset. Well, he's going to be the first one spotted on the CM. Monster will take it. He'll move in, but who are we aiming? 9. He's got a nice avalanche in the backside. Global Silence committed. Monster, he's already gone. He just drops so darn quickly. As a Centaur, that's never a good sign. Meanwhile, Napkin, he'll cop the rupture, but he doesn't care. He'll just stand forward because Lamey, he will rush forward. Wiz will force Staff away, be alright. But in comes Napkin now. Thing is, Alpha, they will successfully back their way out, so they'll only lose Monster. But it's pretty rough, like, if that's your team fight. Like, you get the initiation, you get a Global Silence off, but nothing really comes out of it.
I mean, you kill a CM, but it's really not the biggest deal in the world. You did manage to force out BKB use and Exorcism. So Alpha should be pretty happy with that, although they did trade Global Silence. They're trying to chase up here.
I mean, they want to capitalize off something, but they've missed entirely. I mean, maybe they could find Sunset if they're lucky. So Smoke will not work out. Perhaps thinking Roshan had started. Maybe they could start Roshan themselves if they really want. But it's still very risky. And in fact, Sol has moved in. They are going to try for Roshan.
They've got decent damage to get this done. They have Monster that can tank, but of course you can always scout for the Sunstrike. And you manage to see that Roshan is underway. Thiuth, immediate smoke. They don't want to give this for free.
Problem is, they're kind of lacking some heroes, but no, never mind. They group up. Roshan so darn low, though. They need to get there quick. Roshan, only 500 HP away from dying. Rises immediately, just pops his BKB. He'll steal the Aegis away and just BKB TP out. And they basically give up nothing. That probably shouldn't be happening. But Thiuth kind of maybe preemptively backing off. No wards, no vision around the Roshan pit. They kind of just give it away.
Yeah, they're the guys with the Ursa. They need to be the ones playing around this Roshan. Alpha get a nice pickup for themselves. On the side of Thiuth, I mean, the game's not completely out of control. It's still rather even. 16 to 13, less than 1k lead coming out here for Alpha. Lamey currently number 1 in net worth at the moment. Almost at that blink timing here on our Ursa. And now they can try to get a little bit of a shove in on mid. Mid tower, definitely just giving a little bit too much out for the side of Alpha to keep that aggressive kind of move going. You would want to equalize here on Thiuth's end. We'll see if that's something that they will get done. For the most part, Alpha though, I mean, they've got their own timings lined up. We've got the Lotus Orb coming in for Monster into the BKB. We've got the BKB coming through for Soul down the line. And Rises as well. Full BKB done. Yasha at the very least coming out next. So you've got damage, you've got scaling. You've got a very even game number 2 here, Mike. And for Thiuth, I mean, they don't want it to be even. They want to end it. They want to go quick. Let's see if they'll still find their opening as the game scales on. Another Fortify coming out here. At the least, you still have your Exo ready to go on Napkin. Doesn't look like he's key to use that just yet.
I mean, they want the tier 1 mid tower, but they need a creep wave by. Slowly force it in. Alpha, though, they're going to go for a big smoke up. To defend that mid tier 1 tower. They know Thiuth are around there somewhere. Esk will get started, just pops the Alacrity onto one of his Forge Spirits. Holding on to the Exorcism in case there's a big team fight, it seems. So at this point, they don't really need it, considering how low the HP of that tower is. Thiuth, I mean, they group up. They haven't got the tier 1 mid yet, but it won't really matter. Very, very low. Esk mid lane. Luckily not attacking the creep wave, so won't get caught out here by Alpha. Instead, Alpha, they're going to head up top, where the tier 2 top tower, it's very low and Rises. He will get it for free.
Yeah, they just get enough room to get that movement done top. Alpha's been allowed to take over this top jungle quite nicely. They don't really have the vision in the area, but they are watching, like say, the bot area near Roche, and that triangle near the secret shop. It is a little bit tougher for Thiuth right now to get in there and figure out what they have to do. But I think this is a lineup that wants to play pretty late. We've seen it time and time again with Lamey. He does love to play his farming course. Blink BKB up, Basher next. The Basher should correct a lot of your issues here, especially up against the Bloodseeker BKB. So you can kind of face up against him and just get that matchup working your way. For Alpha, it does feel like he can force a fight now as well. Lotus Orb fully up on Monster. Got the Stampede ready. They can do a lot if they just find a good angle. And Thiuth have to be so cautious because these set of supports that Thiuth has, it doesn't feel like they can tank through a gank all too well.
Waiting for someone to show up at that bot creep wave. Nobody there. Alpha heading exactly the opposite direction. Age is going to expire in a minute, so they still have time on that for this fight. They are seeing them in the mid lane. They'll rush through that Radiant jungle, but it seems like Alpha are doing a very good job of trying to avoid them. In they go. Monster will pop the Stampede, but he's been lifted up, or rather frostbitten up, so he will drop. Rises, he could still try. He still has that bit of time left. Global Silence is there. Napkin is going to be the target and will go down. In fact, now they even find the Tiny. So 9 to drop, but Lamey's going to jump back in after Tiger. And Lamey, he still wants a team fight. He's more than happy. He's got the enrage available. There'll be a buyback from 9, but that'll mean that Alpha immediately just back out.
Yeah, really well executed coming out from Alpha. Finding that opening they need to take out Thiuth. And Thiuth maybe just getting a little bit too overconfident coming in. They forced the fight without something like the Basher on Lamey, which just comes out now. So now they have a solid way for Lamey to just hammer in onto Rises and just pin him down while the BKB is running. A bit of PRNG, but if it does catch on, then it shouldn't take too much.
And in the meantime as well, they'll find Wish on the Rubik. Lamey picking up his 8th kill of the game here on this Ursa. Doing 2 very solid games so far in that position 1 role. Sadly for him, no Roshan to play for. He'll just take over that Radiant jungle. Somehow this mid-tier 1 tower is still standing for the side of Alpha. Like, considering you're against a DP, it's just kind of incredible that they've defended it this long.
Yeah, that feels like the story of the night here, Mike. When you have this offlane pushing hero that doesn't get to push, you lose a lot of your early momentum because that's where draft really shines. You need to play to the strengths of your heroes. With a mid-tier 1 still standing, it's very hard for the side of Thiuth to smoke aggressively, to get control back on the opposite side of the river. You have some really good defensive wards here from Alpha as well, watching their own ramps now. So they have a lot of options. They have a lot of information as to what Thiuth might want to do. Still, I feel like Thiuth aren't in a bad spot right now. They're still less than 1k up. Lamey is slightly ahead of Rises, Esk is ahead of Soul, Napkin slightly ahead of Monster. So all your cores are on a core-to-core matchup, doing better on Thiuth's end. And now you have this full BKB up and running on Esk. So he's much more willing to stand up front. They are getting some good damage off of that top tier 2 as well.
But they are. Soul's going to rotate, but the T2 tower is dropping extremely fast. Glyph will be forced out, and that's going to be enough for Thiuth to at least back off for now. Seems like Lamey's thinking about going back in and just finishing the job off. And that they will. T2 tower to go down. This is all the while this mid-tier 1 is still standing. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
The T2s are falling, but the tier 1 is just chilling in the mid lane.
It's a strange thing, Mike. It's a very strange thing, but, you know, we've seen stranger things sometimes.
We have.
So this should be corrected by Thiuth sooner rather than later. Take out that mid-tier 1. Should align with about when we see that Roche timer. About a minute until we see whatever that's planned to be. And Lamey actually just goes for it. Doesn't even wait for the creep wave. Ooh, Monster misses.
Yeah. Off the mark there with the Centaur. They want to keep going. Oh, look at that. Lamey just jumps right into the middle. BKB TP out though. He's left his team behind. All right. I mean, it was a good start, but a very messy end. Like, they just went on the same page. His supports ran in to try and help him. That felt like a very good team fight as well for Thiuth to take.
It would have been. Maybe it's down to the fact that Esk wasn't quite in the area as well. So they had no play to follow through from that BKB pop on Lamey. And they're just forced to play the sacrifice game. Not the biggest kills in the world for Alpha. At the same time, you'll take what you can get when you are slightly behind in net worth. And the side of Alpha now, they've got some room to play. I think the big problem for Thiuth down the line is pinning down Soul. How do you keep this Ember Spirit locked down? Especially now that he has BKB. It does feel like Soul has a lot of room to just do what he wants. And he's going to be very obnoxious just because you don't have the best pieces of stun or control to keep him from jumping around with his remnants.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Thiuth for now going to move down towards the bottom side of the map. Alpha, they'll keep hanging around the Roshan pit, but sadly for them, Roshan's still going to be another 2 minutes, so they're going to be waiting quite a while for that. Alpha obviously would love to steal another Roshan away from Thiuth, but Thiuth have smoked up, unwilling to kind of run that back again. Ooh. Oh, they're right on the Ember. Soul getting deleted here by Lamy. The Abyssal Blade setup makes it so easy.
Yeah, real good use of their vision here out from Thiuth as well. Great reveal of that full Abyssal on Lamy. There is enough time to respawn before the Rosh. There should be a pretty good fight breaking out here. But Alpha probably not in the best position to overextend here either. Side of Thiuth still hungry.
Wish. Very far forward. He's going to get caught. Tiger kind of just stuck in the tree line now. Will TP out and Napkin's going to have no way of cancelling. Meanwhile, Monster's still thinking about pushing out that top creep wave. I suppose he's assuming Thiuth are going to be forcing Roshan. Roshan's still about 55 seconds away from respawning, so again, very unlucky timing for both sides. More so now for Alpha, or rather more so now for Thiuth, because they would desperately love for a Roshan at the moment. Speaking of Thiuth, Napkin's kind of by himself in the triangle. He'll get ruptured up. Ogre still totem away. In goes 9 with an avalanche toss combo. Rise is still trying, but Lamy's in, and it looks like they might have the Bloodseeker. He'll try to run away. Esk is getting the job done. They just need a few more right clicks. Still chasing him down. They secure. Meanwhile, Napkin, he has survived through all of it. Monster's the target. He will go down in the Centaur. And Tiger, well, he's caught.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit wild here for Alpha. I mean, Thiuth's just able to play with these item timing so well. They've got everything. Like, there's not much to stop it. Even if you stampede away, just the Abyssal into here is enough for Lamy to kind of get that done. And it's a bit of a split focus right now. Thiuth, they're going Roche without their Ursa.
Very smart.
Interesting choices. Exorcism is gone. Not the quickest Roche in the world, but now Lamy's on his way. So shouldn't take too much. Once he is there, free shard coming out here as well. Lamy could just pick it up to have that enrage on the Earthshock. He'll be very happy and pleased with himself with that. 21-22, 9k lead for Thiuth off the back of that engagement. And for Alpha, for their team fight, it just feels like they're so tied into these big ults, right? Like they're tied in to Global Silence, they're tied into their Rupture usage, they're tied into how well they can kind of use the Stampede to get in and out of here as well. They do have at least this Linken's up to protect Rises from something like the immediate Abyssal. So he can just kind of keep himself safe. They can try to keep Soul safe. They have to send him out first now as well. And for Thiuth, I don't think there's too much of a rush. You might want to try the high ground when Exo's off cooldown. You don't really have any reason not to do that, as they are just looking a fair bit stronger here.
Oh, jump in again. Monster has not been having a good game whatsoever. He'll Stampede, tosses away. Monster, can he get out? He's trying, but the chase is on for Napkin. Meanwhile, Rises. He at least finds 9. And in fact, Monster does find a way out. And with that, it seems like they get away with a tiny kill. Not the worst scenario here.
Yeah, not the worst for Thiuth. You're still in a pretty good position in this game overall. Like, they've managed to take out all the outer towers once more. They're just... They have a lot of room. Like, this Aegis is still 3 minutes 40 away. Maybe just wait for this full Swiftling though.
Yeah, they've jumped in. Monster's going to stun up, but he's Abyssal Bladed up. But the Lotus Orb's doing a lot of work here against Lamy, not allowing Monster to go down. Lamy's still more than happy to keep trying to fight, but kind of just being kited around. He'll turn back onto Rises. Rises forced to just try and run away because Lamy is just so hard to deal with. Just can't deal with the Angry Bear at the moment. Though if you are Lamy, you're probably just best back off and farm the Swift Blink at this rate.
Yeah, just head back, go for the safe play. We know this is what Thiuth likes to do. They just like to build this overwhelming gold lead to the point where it's next impossible for them to drop the game. Swift Blink fully up now on Lamy. That should be kind of the cracking point for him to get active once more. We're seeing Sunset getting chased.
Yeah, catch up the CM. Lamy, however...
Oh boy.
He is just deleting people right now. Rises and Wish both gone. Monster is pretty much as good as dead at the moment as well. This Ursa completely out of control. And it's onto the tier 3 towers. Why the hell not?
Yep. There's just not much you can do on Alpha. They still have the global silence to play with. It just feels like it's such a specific way of fighting that it almost feels like it's more sustainable for pickoffs. You jump in with your scent, you try to blow one up and clean up with global silence afterwards.
9? Alright, 9's gonna die to the T4 towers.
It's just a bit aggressive coming out from him. That does give him the space to clear out the towers at the least. Tier 3s down mid and up top. So they can just kind of focus in on the racks next. Napkin, still 100 seconds away from EXO, but they're going to find 2 racks. No contest from Alpha.
I mean, it's hard to contest when you haven't got your pulse 1 up. That melee barracks, 20 HP. Lamy, you'll get it done. Alpha. Looking to try and chase this Ursa. Still a minute 20 on that Aegis, so you might not want to kill him right now, because Lamy might turn right back around if you're not careful. They continue to slow him up. Meanwhile, Esk is trapped because he's ruptured up in the tree line. He'll be forced to pop his own BKB. Rises is rushing in. Keep in mind, Aegis is still up for another minute. So they can certainly fight here on Thiuth if they wish, and it looks like they are going to move in back onto Monster. Esk has dropped, but they'll find the Centaur as a trade. In fact, now Tiger's being chased down. 9 will find the CM. In goes Rises. In goes Soul. But they can't fight. And now, well, surprise, surprise, Wish is out of position.
Just one small misstep. And that's been the consistent thing for Alpha, right? From the laning phase, we've seen those little small misplays. And just kind of escalates up. Buying back already. No global silence, though. So, I'm not sure how much you can do to stop this.
Look at Lamy. He doesn't care. I mean, he's got 20 more seconds to go. Jump right in. Avalanche tosses out. This could be the last team fight. Rises is dead. He'll buy back immediately, but they've lost their silencer. He's died back. In goes Rises, but he jumps right into the loving arms of Lamy. Aegis 5 seconds away from respawn expiring, but 9's in now. Tornado connects. 9, or rather Rises, is able to run. 9 will drop surely on the Tiny. Thiuth, in they go again. Lamy, he'll take down Wish on the Rubik. He's onto the Centaur. Monster barely able to get away. They are still trying to defend this one. The game is not quite over yet, but it's a 3v5 scenario. In goes Monster. He'll Lotus Orb off the Frostbite. But there's only one lane of barracks left, and look at Lamy. He just doesn't care. He's going right in.
Jeez. The stampede back into the fountain. Not a great feeling there, Mike. Not something you see too often either. Full Mega creeps up now at 37 minutes in.
Soul, yeah, Soul just gets deleted. He's got buyback, but it seems like it's about time to call it. There goes Monster. They'll try 2v5. Maybe try and find a way to defend this. Soul's just rushing forward. Has to Remnant back. But the Mega creeps are incoming. And in we go again. Lamy, he is the real problem. GG is called. Alpha, they've had enough. And Thiuth, against all odds, they pull off the 2-0 victory here against Alpha.
Yeah, against really good odds from Alpha. You know, they were the favorites coming in from esportsbet.io. 1.5 to 2.3, I think is what you mentioned.